viable as for our startup. And I think it's been very interesting. Of course, we have done quite a number of physical sessions whereby you have also done some bit of labs, trying just to scrutinize your business strategies to see whether they are well aligned, so that you can be able to, of course, prepare them for the pitching as well as also for the growth. Yeah, so I can say today, we still have other people who are joining online, and I believe they'll also be able to find us proceeding. Because of time, I think we'll just proceed. Yeah, so you find that the essence of lean startup methodology is just to help us to make our businesses to attain three types of business fit. That is, we talk about problem solution fit, product market fit, and business model fit. And I think up to this level, all of us are very clear with that. It's just to remind us so that we can know where we are and what we're going to do next. So now that we have actually developed our business models, canvas models, I think the next challenge that we have for our business is now, what next? How do we get into the market? Because what strategies are we supposed to apply? How do we ensure that our business grow? I think those are the key questions that, of course, will be up in our minds. So today we're just going to look at how we can do this, and of course, we're going to mainly focus on how we can be able to grow our customer base, so that we can be able to, of course, be able to become make our business become profitable. So we saw that a solution is actually viable, or we can simply consider to be viable if of course it's simply addressing a solution that is worthy somebody paying for it, and it's able to it's able to attract a desirable market for the clients who can really feel that they can really pay for the product. So I think that's a very, very important point that we learned from our last session. And of course, this basically helps us to come up with more of a user-centric kind of a business, whereby we design our business product as well as business offering in a way that it's able to attract more clients in more of an organic way, so that you can be able to grow. Because you know that in any business, the most important thing that for it to the most important factor for it to exist is basically for it to be able to address a market need, as well as also be able to scale to other markets. That's the most important thing that we have here. So of course, we saw that in order for us to do that, we must first of all understand the buying processes for clients, and also understand how best we can come up with a business model that can really be able to satisfy their needs, that is, be convenient and also meet the expectation within the market, depending on some of the challenges that they might be having within their area of operation. So we talked about the value proposition canvas model. I think we talked about that, and we saw how you can be able to apply that to develop a value proposition that you can simply use to introduce your product into the market. And we saw that in doing so, of course, it will help you to know to develop the strategies that you are going to employ, especially when it comes to now reaching out to the client. That means you would know how the clients, of course, discover your product. You will be able to know how your clients will be able to interact with your product, and how your clients will be able to derive value from your product. And in that case, of course, will also help you now to come up with the business strategies of how to create awareness about your product, how you enable your customers to be able to evaluate your product, and then how they are going to pay for your product. Because some of these products, for example, if you're going to use a digital platform to sell your product to your clients, then that means that even the mode of payment is also going to become digital. Maybe you're going to use M-Pesa or any other model. So those are some of the things that you need to consider for your business. And so that for you to grow, of course, you have to start as a company, and then you also need to ride on the ladder of your partners who can help you to get maybe awareness in the public about your products and services. And then from there, once you gain enough muscles, then you can now start using your internal resources to carry out advertisement as well as marketing and using other platforms so that you can be able to reach out to more clients. And then, of course, once you reach out to these clients, we expect that these clients can be able to, of course, pass word or refer your products and services to other clients. So basically, that's how you can look at the growth of your business. So, of course, all this can simply be achieved if you really do a lot of practice. You really sit down and try to come up with a map to show exactly what you want to do, what you want to achieve. Of course, try to look at the different aspects of the business. That is, look from your business canvas model, you can be able to know, for example, what were your target markets? Of course, what are their pain points, of course, that you're trying to address? Think about, of course, the value proposition. What is that you're offering to them? Okay, that will make them to buy your product. Think about the channels that you're going to use. Of course, think about the costing and all that. So all that helps you to understand the whole aspect of the business and then be able to really present it in a more user-friendly way. So, and so that you can only achieve this if you really simply apply the lean startup methodology, whereby you simply come up with an idea, you develop it, then you test it, and then you get it, you learn from it, and then you get into some vicious circle and you keep on improving. So, like in this case, talk about the value proposition. You can use the lean startup methodology to, of course, to test different value proposition about your product, whether it's really working or whether it's really fit your target clients or not. And then, of course, in that loop, you can be able to test, you can be able to come up with a pivot so that you can know whether it's really working or not. If it works, of course, you now keep on improving on it. And in that case, you keep on defining your value proposition. You can also do the same also for the growth hypothesis to see how you can be able to adapt more clients for your product. So you find that all these are more of experimental approaches. And you find that today business, of course, if the business world or the entrepreneur world, you find that it's no longer a matter of trial and error, but it involves a well-thought and well-thought idea and a well-structured plan that an entrepreneur needs to have so that you can be able to impress, to be able to grow, as well as also to attract investors. And we said last time that this is very important because when you are doing your pitching to investors, they will want to know whether you really understand, of course, who your client is, what's your target market, what problem are you trying to address, because how are you going to reach out to these clients? This is a very, very important aspect because it actually shows how well prepared you are for your business that you're trying to preach. So you find that these skills, this knowledge, or this, is very, very important for you as a startup, that you really understand all these things, even as you get to the market. Yeah, so I think that's what we've been covering so far. So we also looked at customers, talked about the demographics, of course, age group, gender, income, occupation, family size as some of the key categories that can be used to define any target market segment. Of course, the geographical, the location, the city. You find that we have got different characteristics when we talk about, for example, big cities and, for example, small cities like ours in Eldoret. The characteristics are very different. There's a difference between the rural setup and also the urban setup. So we need to understand all these characteristics when we're doing our business. And I think we have discussed that over and over again about different products that you're offering. Of course, like, for example, we looked at, for example, the The C natural, of course, C natural, it's like cross-cutting. Talking about targeting, for example, people, working class people. They could be in rural area or they could be in urban center. We have got a Julira coffee, of course, whereby you're talking about coffee, trying to target university students. And of course, wherever there's a university, of course, the environment around that area is really more of urban setup. So those are some of the things that you need to look at. And we also talked about psychographic factors like attitudes, personality traits, and the like. So those are just some of the things that you need to sort of consider. You find that all these, of course, have got they say something about your business, of course, the growth. They can help, for example, investors to determine how viable your business is. Uh, of course, look at the trend, look at the market trend, the global trend, and of course, help them to make a good decision when it comes to investors. Because for investors, on the other hand, they have got their own resources, but they really want to invest their money in business they feel that it's viable. Of course, they can't really, they wouldn't want to contemplate businesses. So it's very, very important that we understand all these aspects of the business. Yeah, so today, therefore, we are mainly going to look at one aspect, that is customer acquisition, because if you look at this diagram here, you find that solid customer base is actually down there, the ability to scale and capture customers. If you look at that roadmap, it's actually down there. So you find that this is the most important aspect of any business. So any investor will want to know exactly what is your customer base? How are you going to acquire your clients? So the question here could be, what is customer acquisition? Yeah, so we can therefore say that customer acquisition is just a process of acquiring what new clients. Because for any business, when you develop your product, the main goal for developing the product is to ensure that you make sales. So the sales can only be made if you acquire new clients. I think that's how we can look at that. So the question is, how do you acquire clients? Okay. It seems to be a very simple question, but I think maybe I can open up the discussion there, and then so that you can all understand, maybe, but you can have a different perspective of this concept here. So how do we acquire clients? And why is customer acquisition important? Let me repeat myself. Anybody you can try. You can just unmute yourself and then go on, or raise up your hand.
What was the question again?
The question is, of course, okay.
May I try?
Okay, yes, Anne. Please go ahead. How far you are getting me clearly?
Yeah, you said that customer acquisition is the way of. I'm getting you. Customer acquisition is how you acquire clients, or how you acquire customers. And to my answer, I think it is through the the channels of acquiring customers. Like, for example, advertising, referrals, word of mouth. Are they the ones?
Yeah. So yeah, you're also asking us a question. Maybe somebody else can be able to answer that.
Okay, hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Customer acquisition is the process where you convince someone to trust and buy your products. To trust and buy your products, according to me.
Okay. Yeah, you simply convincing somebody to trust and buy your product. All right. Yeah, so that means that you have a product and then there's a client on the other side. So you're trying to convince that client to buy the product. So how do you convince this client? Yeah, and we're just getting back to your question. How do you do it? Because that's now where they start. Yes, you want to try this?
Yes. Yeah. You convince by you advertise your product, you explain it well,
Yeah.
the importance of your product to the consumer.
You explain the product to your consumer. Let me give you a good example. I have a big truck, a lorry, yeah, and I want to sell it. So how will I do it? Julie says that I will come to a potential client and then I explain to them the benefit of the truck.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Usually,
Yes.
the consumer has like a problem that wants to be solved. So you explain how your product will solve the problem that the consumer wants, that the consumer has. I think so.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so maybe and to explain that, to find that, of course, what the first thing that you need to know to do is that you need to realize that the person that you're approaching has got a need that needs to be satisfied. I think that should be the starting point. And then, of course, you try to have that person to understand the need that they have and also try to have them to understand the kind of solution that you have and how you can be able to fulfill their needs. I think that's the connecting point of any making a sale. So in that case, so that you have really made a sale. So you find that when it comes to customer acquisition, of course, the ultimate part of the customer acquisition is actually making the sale. But you find that for an entrepreneur, we say that if let's set up, we find that, say that an entrepreneur is everywhere. So that means that at times we don't know who's going to be our client or not. So that means that the first thing that we need to do is that we need to, of course, create awareness about our products. That's right. So that in the process of creating awareness about the product, you find that that information can reach to a potential client who can then decide to, of course, give it benefits of doubt and try to hear your okay, of course, your prepositions, and then be able to make a decision based on that, and then be able to do a purchase. So you find that it's more of a process. It's not just a one thing that you can just wake up and tell somebody, this is what I have, buy this. You find that it's more of a well thought process that is involved in, first of all, creating awareness and then convincing, and then, of course, converting that need into a sale. So this is how we can look at it. So you find that customer acquisition is a more of a very elaborate process. So just going to get back to my presentation. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yeah, on the what is
Yes,
the
Charles.
customer acquisition.
Okay. Why on my end it's like I'm trying to. Okay. So of course, if you go to the marketplace, you find that we have got number of goods which are there, where was the potential clients is always getting different, of course, stimuli, trying to pull them up to buy their products. But you find that now you want also to tap into that network so that your products can be able to move. In that case, of course, it's more of an aggressive activity that you have to take place you as a startup. Now the question is, how do you do it as a startup? Because we see this is what needs to be done. You need to go out, you need to reach out to this client, you need to get people to know about your product, start buying your product. You're very passionate about your idea, you're very passionate about your product, so you want to go to the market. So in this case, as a startup, we find that you have a bigger challenge. Because one thing that we know is that you don't have enough resources. Secondly, you're still operating as a lean team. Okay, lean team, that means that you are one or two people within your business setup, and you want to make people to know about your product and to know what to understand your product. So what does it mean? It simply means that, of course, we'll start by simply trying to come up with some form of goals whereby you really want to uh, attain within a specific period of time. So, for example, using a lean startup methodology, you want to know to test to see whether first of all your products can be sold. That should be your problem number one, or is your problem but your objective number one. Objective number two is to learn how it is sold, or to know how best you can be able to, of course, enable your clients to be able to take this product at their convenience so that you can also make more sales. And of course, you can look at all those aspects and you can give yourself some time, let's say like 1 month. So like you can give yourself like month one, you basically be testing my value proposition strategies, testing my pricing strategy, testing my go to the market strategy so that you can be able to see how you can syndicate to the market. Yes, see natural.
Charles, I don't know whether it's just on my end, but your
Yeah.
audio is not clear. It's muffled. I don't know whether you're using a headphone or something, but it's not very clear. Ama ni mimi.
Yes, it's not clear kabisa.
Yeah. Yes, we invite you to this microphone. Give me 1 minute. Yes, so I hope it's better now.
That sounds good.
Okay, sir. Yeah, so I was saying that as a startup, we find that this is just one of the challenge that we'll always have within our setup, because we want to see how our products are going to go to the market. And of course, we're looking at the kind of resources that we have around us, and we really want to make things moving. So you find that this one really poses a big challenge to us. And of course, I'm sure most of you have done it. Maybe you can share with us how you've done it, because I know here you have, like, maybe in the team, you are the only maybe 2 or 3 people, the founders. You've taken your time to produce your product, and now you really want to acquire more clients. So maybe we can also learn from each other. I'm sure some of us have really made have crossed through this bridge, and maybe it's good for us to share how you've done before. And I also believe that since you have also been in business, of course, you must have had some intention of growth. So I don't know, how did you cross over to the bridge to the next other point? Yeah, I can see someone in the chat. Yeah, so yes, Dorothy. Yeah, you can share with us how you plan to get to the market. Sia, nyinyi ni wafanyabiashara? I'm sure we are not talking a new thing. Yeah. So
Okay, Charles, let me give it a try.
yes, yes.
Let me share from my experience. For me, my very first customers, well, they were not customers at the time because I gave out little free samples to people within my circles. And then those were the first people to buy after trying the sample. But I think this depends on the kind of business someone has and the cost of production and things like that, so that you're not just dishing out products that have costed you. Yeah, so, but that, I think that's one of the ways for me I got into the market. And also I acquired my first customers from exhibitions. I remember my very first exhibition was an ASK show, and I was hosted by the Department of Crop Production for the county under value addition. So I put there my coffee products, my soap and some oils, and that's where I got my first customers. Yeah. So then from there, I think from referrals, I acquired a few more, and yeah, that's how that's how I've been getting customers, and now my customer base has grown a bit.
Good. Yeah, actually, that's basically what I was just trying to take us through, because this is more of a natural way of growth. Because you find that the first thing, source of customer is we can simply say it's yourself as the founder of your business. You must really be prepared to bring or to get the first customers for your business. Apart from just putting up strategies for developing your product, because of course we are actually very passionate about what you want to do, because we want to, of course, come up with an innovation that will really hit the market, and you find that you can really spend most of your effort and time developing your product. But at the same time, you find that the challenge is how you're going to get your clients. And you find that at this point here, as you start as a startup, you find that everything is upon you. It's you as the business owner to be the first client of your business. So you must be convinced that whatever you're trying to build, you can actually buy it. So, and that can really help you to understand exactly what your clients need, and of course, come up with ways of trying to approach your clients. So in that case, you find that you need to flip up the situation and say that now I'm the client. Okay, what will make me buy this thing? You start asking yourself those questions, because how much can I buy it? Get that? What will be the benefit for me buying this particular product? You get that? So basically, that's the natural way of doing it. And you find that once you do like that, of course, that as you try to now approach to the potential clients, maybe through forums, through like what Caroline has told us, like through the event that she was invited, you find that in that case, the word starts now going out about your product, and you find that in that case, you increase your chances of converting, okay, these potential clients into, of course, part of your client base. And so you find that it's more of it's a step that requires you to make the initial step. So, of course, once you've done that, of course, and made a sale, then the rest of the team can start now helping you to actually sell your products. So of course, therefore, you find that the first client for your product is yourself. It's important that you really put yourself uh, into the into the shoes of the client so that you can be able to understand exactly what is it that they want. What is it really makes them to really want to buy the product. And then apart from that, you also need to have some bit of marketing skills. Try to reach out to friends, make calls, make emails, let them know about your products and of course, whatever you're trying to create so that they can be able to buy your product. So, of course, with that, the only way you can be able to create, of course, uh, your product. And then, of course, as you try to do all this, the most important thing is for you to try to also to try to have some key metrics that you will try to monitor to see whether your approach is working or not. And of course, this can really help you to understand exactly how the customers get converted from the time they receive your message up to the time they take action to buy the product. Because that's the most important thing that you need to understand as as a startup. Find how will you acquire your clients. So you need to know that, of course, the first thing that you need to create awareness. Uh, this awareness has to go through some medium where people can be able to and get this information, get this knowledge. You need to understand the kind of message that you need to send through this medium so that it can be compelling to them, it can trigger the need, it can be appealing to them so that they can be able to
We lost Charles. Yes, what's up?
yeah, sorry for that interruption. I don't know why my laptop just went off. So of course, we're looking at the information processing funnel. So it's like, of course, you really need to reach out to a big audience, send the message to your big audience. Of course, you find that as they continue accepting this information and processing it down, you find that it narrows down to those specific clients or potential clients or audience that will actually be converted into making a sale. So you find that it's a very it's a very comprehensive process that one needs to really get involved into it. So of course, that means that you as a startup, you really need to understand exactly how you are going to do it. Of course, lucky enough today, we have got the digital platform, which you can simply use it as a way of really reaching out to massive audience. Of course, you find the social media, for instance, is freely available, and you find that any one of us can simply tap into this resource to reach out to the clients. So you find that in this case, you need to come up with a clear strategy on how you are going to do it. How, for example, you need to first of all to define who are your target audience, so that you have what you call a targeted marketing approach towards that audience. And then, of course, think about the kind of messaging that you're going to present to this, of course, targeted audience that will actually and convince them, as just as I think Juliet, yeah, I think it's Elizabeth who said that a way of you could convince them to buy your product. So we really need to think about all that. And lucky enough today with social media and digital platform, we have got tools like search engine optimization. You can do market research. You can use blogs. You can use Facebook. You can use Twitter as a way of trying to, of course, creating visibility about your product, and then trying to monitor to see how long they're able to do what, how many clients you have reached to, and how many of them are able to converted into sales. And that's basically the most important thing. And for this purpose, we find that for learning stage, you find that it's important that you really look at the cost of you reaching out to your clients. And you find that it's always it's only viable if, for example, you're able to determine that the cost of converting or getting a new client should be less than the lifetime value for that particular customer. Okay. So when talk about that is that, for example, the time that it takes for you to reach out to a new client whom you don't know where he or she is, the time that it takes for you to convince or even to make that client to sit down and start hearing about your pitch, the time it takes for this client to make a decision, and the time it takes or the effort that takes this person to actually purchase the product and also receive the product. So we call that cost of acquiring a customer. So you put all that together to call it cost of acquiring the customer. And that's really done during the sales. When you're doing a sales function in a business, you find that it captures all that cost. And then, of course, the lifetime value for your clients simply means, for example, how much money you're getting once these clients becomes converted or becomes part of your database, become part of your client. In that case, we are saying, for example, like let's say for a product like, for example, the that one for Maggie's natural hiyo kienyeji mboga, you find that once you convert one client, akishatumia hiyo mboga, there's a high probability that he will be able to refer, okay, that products to somebody else, because wataitumia kwa nyumba, because that means, like, for example, they'll consume that product as a family. Of course, they'll have a conversation as a family. You get that? And you find that a family maybe has got like 4 or 3 people. So these family members can also be able to, enjoy a product and then be able to refer it to other people. So you find that at the end of the day, after one sale, you find that you can have a ripple effect of trying to of course, passing the message to around 10 people or maybe 5 people. So you find that in that case, you see the lifetime value here will be that one for 5 people. The cost that you have taken to convince this one person to buy is what you call the cost of acquisition. While the lifetime value is now what these other people can really do to the business. Because you can imagine now, it's like now you have added like 5 people into your pool of marketing resource who can be able to send a word outside there about your product. So you find that these are some of the things that you need to balance when you're thinking about how you really want to drive value from your acquisition cost. So in that case, as a startup, you need to understand all these intricacies about your business so that you, from day one, as you start your business, you really know exactly how your business is going to operate, as opposed to you spending a lot of money trying to acquire a client who will not even deliver for you any value. Like that's why I gave you an example. I have a truck, okay, a truck, a 22-wheel truck, and then I spend my whole day trying to advertise that truck in a university setting. I go to the university, and then I get students. Then I start telling them how good that truck is. You can imagine what will happen. Of course, I'll be doing the sales and marketing component function of it. But at the end of the day, you find that it will be too expensive for me because I can spend like even 3 months trying to convince students to buy the truck. One, because one, they don't have the purchasing power. Secondly, it's not the right product for the right situation. So in that case, as much as I spend more money there, you find that the lifetime value for the client that I'll get, even if I get one student buying that truck, it's not likely that student can be able to convince other students to buy the same truck because of the current, the kind of demographics that they have as students. So you find that this exercise need to be you're supposed to be very, very targeted, okay? When you're trying to do your customer acquisition. Of course, it must really be based on your market fit concept. That is for the lean startup concept that you have actually developed so that you're able to derive more value from it. So, and of course, you can also be able to come up with a natural way of acquiring the clients. So the lean startup methodology, of course, simply comes in here. You can actually see how important it is because it really helps you when it comes to customer acquisition. When we talked about customer development, whereby you start involving the customers from day one, okay? That is from the development of the product, market validation, and all that. You see that if you involve them throughout the process, then it becomes very easy for you to acquire more clients because it will follow a natural path, okay? A natural path for the product. But if you do the other way around, whereby you first develop the product and then you try to start marketing it, then that, of course, can really affect your performance. I hope you're getting still loud and clear.
Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so these are some of the metrics that you really need to track when you're trying to do customer acquisition. You need to be very scientific so that you don't just invest your effort. So you need to look, for example, as you try to sell out your product, you need to see, for example, how do your clients find you? So on your end, you need to really to understand that. You need to open up your mind and try to track that. You can make your first sale maybe through, of course, road shows. You can make another one through, of course, forums. You can make another one through the shop. But the most important thing is that you also need to understand which of this approach, which of these channels that, of course, channels that I know that it was was Juliet, somebody was talking about channels, like, okay, no, those Elizabeth, yeah, that these people are using to get you. So of course, here you need to flip up the situation. You can, as a startup, you can focus using a specific channel to reach out to your clients, but maybe that channel does not really work. Okay, so it's important that you open up your mind and try to test and see how are they finding you. Okay, I'm using Facebook, but now through which means are they finding me? Through which medium are they comfortable reaching out to me? Then, of course, you need to think about how do you, of course, start interacting with them. We talk about activation. Of course, maybe when they're making their inquiries, they're using Facebook. Most of them will prefer maybe using WhatsApp. Others will prefer using calls just to make inquiries about the product. You need to know exactly and what are their main pain points when they're asking. Okay, what is it that they are looking for when they start the conversation? So we talk about activation. So you need to track that, look at what is it that they're looking for in the product. What are they looking at? The quality? Are they looking at, for example, the cost? Are they looking at way of getting the product? For example, for example, you advertise your product on the Facebook. So they will ask you, how will I get the product? How will I know that your product is genuine? No, those could be the questions that they could be asking you. So you need to track that. Okay? Because that's what will actually trigger or activate the conversations with the clients. And of course, once they ask that, of course, also need to say after those inquiries, after all those, of course, attempts of wanting to know about your product, how many of them are able to come back again? Okay, either to inquire about the same product, maybe you negotiate a product, and then they can either buy, or maybe if they don't have money, they can say, I'll come back tomorrow. So you need to think about retention. Do they just make the inquiries once and then disappear, or do they come back? Because that also helps you to understand exactly whether you are doing the right thing or not doing the right thing. Because your main objective is to capture more clients within your customer base. So this can really help you to know whether you're using the right methodology, the right maybe communication approach, or maybe whether you're using the right information or communicating the right information to them so that they can be able to convince them to come back or not. And then, of course, once you have converted them into sales, we need to know how much money you're making, okay, from each sales. Let's say, for example, you are trying to use an online shop to sell your product. So you need to think about how much it has taken them to know about the product, to start the conversation, until the time that they have actually made that decision to buy it. So then in that case, how much are they ready to buy for it, to buy the product? So you need to monitor that, because that helps you to know, of course, how much or how viable your product is. And then after that, of course, you can also now monitor after that single purchase, how many referrals were done. Okay, yeah, like we're talking about the Maggie's kienyeji. Ukishakula hiyo mboga, the family will take the mboga. Will this family refer to any other family about the same mboga? Are you going to see for a call maybe from other will say that, okay, I was referred to you by so and so. You said that you sell good mboga. Okay, so those are some of the key metrics that you really need to track when you're trying to do your customer acquisition. You find that by doing so, it helps you to really refine your approach and your methodology, because you cannot say that there's one size fits all. Different products have got different approaches, different techniques, different client base, different approaches. But in generally, you find that these are just some of the common things that you need to track for your business growth. So, of course, by tracking these interactions, can really help you to know whether your business is viable or not. And it can also help you to, of course, come up with a more refined strategy so that you can be able to boost your customer base as well as the growth. So we have got a number of tools that you can use. Of course, like in a digital space for acquisition, maybe you can use, for example, people can use, for example, Google search engine. They can use, for example, Yahoo search engine or the Bing. So you can track that maybe as a way of that maybe people are using to reach you. Activation, you can talk about the features of the product. For example, if you are using an influencer, you have got a very good picture there. You can test different types of pictures. There's some certain captions that can really attract more people. Others can't really attract them. So you can really understand different types of design, different types of tone that you can simply use to capture more clients. So all these are just ways of enhancing your approach of acquiring more clients. So so as a funnel, you find that you can, of course, keep track of quite a number of metrics, like, of course, the type of response that they give, of course, the actions, how the clients are discovering you. Of course, you can use something like a survey to know them. Okay, maybe after sales, you'll want to take a survey to know, to understand exactly what are whether your customer was satisfied by the service or not, how they came to know about the product, if was it through referral. So those are just some of the things that you really need to put into business so that you really have capture value from your customers. And that's why you can see that today all businesses are really competing towards customer satisfaction, and customer relationship management. It's a very, very important department in any key business. So you as a startup, you find that you must actually incorporate that gene into your business from the starting day, okay? So that as you grow, then you're able to really, of course, apply those skills into the business. So therefore, for today's session, of course, some of the key points that we need to think is that as a startup, because you have to learn to start up small. Okay, start small. Try to think about what is it that I can do, okay, to acquire the clients. So think about different ways which you can be able to acquire the clients. Pick one approach at a time. Okay, pick one approach at a time. So, like, for instance, for Jelira, talking about coffee, you want to target different clients for coffee. So you can use that one for example, if you're going to package the coffee into small sachets. So you can try it with different types of clients at a time. So you need to identify different types of market segments. And then for each type of segments, you can try it one at a time. Try to test it with the different pricing. And then as you try to do it, of course, you can be able to know exactly what is the response for the clients for each and every pricing strategy. So before even you settle on a specific price, of course, we talked about different types of pricing last time we had a discussion. You find that we can use the market penetration approach just to test the market, and also to try as much as possible to acquire more clients within your client base, so that they can be able to know exactly what about some ideas about your product. So this one is basically an example for a website. If you're having a website, an e-commerce website, so of course you can track for website. It's easy for you to track the number of visitors who are coming to the website. You can see how many people have clicked on call to action. Like, for example, you can put there, you can advertise your product on your website, like have a page talking about a specific product. Then you put their button there, buy now. We talk about call for action. Is like there's an action that you're putting onto that page. Buy me or make an order. So the good thing about digital platforms is that you can be able to track how many people are trying to make orders through the platform. Okay. And with that orders, how many of them they end up purchasing the product. So that's how good the digital platforms are when it comes to customer acquisition. You find that they can really show all those statistics and all the metrics. You can get all that information, gather all that data, and then use it also to develop your product, your go-to-market strategies. Because here we already have a product, but we're just trying to understand exactly how can we acquire more clients. And that's the beauty of what is referred to as digital marketing. We shall be looking at that in our future sessions. So ideally, if you look at any business, of course, the customer acquisition is always can simply be related to, for example, a funnel, whereby you start by simply raising awareness about the product by simply making a campaign. So here, of course, you can reach out to specific people. You can reach out to specific platforms, partners, etc. So you reach out to them and try to create awareness about your products. Try to, of course, let them know that you really exist, that your products really exist. Let them know the type of course, the value that your product does, so that the brand of your product can simply be felt. Like for now, we are trying to plan for that Laureate Investor Forum, and I think you as a startup you'll be given an opportunity to really display your products to, of course, to the clients as well as to the potential investors. So, of course, that will help you to create some awareness about what your existence and about your products and what you're offering to the public. And you find that after this, you're going to get some leads from this conference. Maybe we'll have people express interest in your product. So maybe you can have a visitors book whereby they can simply note down your contacts and all that. So after that, of course, then this can give you what we call the leads, because you know that, for example, we have got my products. We have got these clients who came from this region, and they're saying that in that region they really need these products. That's a lead. Okay, it helps you to understand that, okay, I'm here in Eldoret, but there was one person who came from, for example, Career Valley, who told me that there they really don't have, they've got issues with, for example, skin. Most of them, because of the cold, maybe it's very scorching and all that. So, of course, that can give you some bit of market intelligence about the need for your product. That's, for example, See Natural. Then you can simply put that into visitors book. And then, of course, now from there, now you can now explore now the leads by simply doing a follow-up to that specific client. Of course, making some calls, trying to also maybe organizing some workshops within those regions, so that you can use it as a platform to educate maybe your potential clients, and then, of course, convert them into your client base. And then, of course, once that has been identified and you've got some enough market intelligence and awareness, then you can now continue with the normal sales, because sales normally results into conversion, because you're now converting these clients into some form of monetary gain. So basically, that funnel there simply shows how the client acquisition can simply be acquired in any given business setup. Yeah, so up to there, I've talked so much. Maybe I can pause there for a while to get any question from participants. Yeah, any question? That means we are all good to go. Yeah, so this idea of customer acquisition is very important, because it has got a direct dimension towards the growth of your business. You find that any business, you find that its success is basically based on the number of sales that they make within a year. And you can only increase the number of sales by simply increasing your client base. I think That's the natural aspect of it. And that's why it's very important when it comes to investor readiness, because you must really demonstrate and show that your product can really has got the ability to sell over some global markets. So sales is the key thing here that you really need to think about it. So therefore, it's important based on what you've discussed today. Therefore, we see that it's important for you as a startup that you learn how to make a sale. Okay, that you understand how to make a sale. At times, we startups, we are usually very technical in our approach. That we just produce our products and then we say that watanunua. Hii ni kiatu, nunua. Ni 200, ni 400 shillings. Yeah. Yeah, at times we try to do that. And most startups normally find themselves in that trick because they've really tried, they've made up a good product. But now when it comes now to conversion, it becomes a problem. So I think this is just a challenge. I'm sure most of you must have had that. Must have experienced this, that at times it doesn't really automatically follow that since you have developed a good product, it will automatically sell. That's not always the case. Usually we have got what we call sales page. And that explains why we must have a salesperson within our team, a person who can be able to convince people to buy the product. So it requires a little bit another effort, okay, just to convince that client that actually what you're selling is genuine. So this is more of a soft skill that as an entrepreneur, you must have it. You must actually develop it. Okay, it's not a matter that maybe you can start without with the limited skills, but with time, is something that you really need to understand, that you really need to develop yourself as an entrepreneur. So you need to know, for example, how to introduce yourself, how to package yourself, how to package your information, so that if you're given like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you simply make a sale. So it's more like a pitching, okay? So that business can start developing that confidence that indeed they're dealing up with a credible product, a credible transaction, because credibility here is very, very important. The way you appear before your client is very, very important. The language that you use before your client is very, very important. How you package your product is very, very important. Last time I saw some of us who are doing the presentation during last week when we had some visitors at Eldohub. And of course, we saw how they were so much interested about the packaging, because we saw the kind of curiosity that it was creating. And it was very exciting to see that at least they were able to appreciate that we can have high standard products being developed within Eldoret. So I think it's important that as much as we also think about product design and development and interaction, that we also understand how to maintain a relationship with the client so that you can be able to grow them. So one way is, what kind of impression do we create before them? Okay, that comes from branding, packaging, okay, how we talk, how we value, okay. So this is something that may not really be this is a skill that we may not really have it, but it's a skill that you can actually develop as startups. Okay. Yeah. So what you need to do that, of course, you don't expect you to become a salesperson for your business at the end of the day, but since you're still starting, you can simply think about how best can you really interact with your clients, how best can you really, of course, convince your clients to purchase. So if you, for instance, you know that you don't have you have some challenges with the sales skills, then you can always get somebody on board who can really help you to do that. Because this function of your business it's actually the most important function for your business that helps you to convert whatever value that you're trying to create. So then apart from that, we shall be looking at, you need to have a marketing strategy. How do we make sure that people know about your product, about your brand, about what you are offering, and how do you also ensure that we communicate value to them and ensure that they get satisfied and about what you are doing. So you need to understand that and put that into perspective. Then apart from that, of course, you need to reach out. Your reaching out is you need to find different ways in which you can be able to reach out to your clients. Of course, use different types of mediums. At times, these mediums are just meant for you to engage with your potential clients. Information is very important here. Try to educate them, okay, about what you are doing, what you are doing. So in this case, you need to have a strategy of what type of strategy channels are you going to use to reach out to your clients. Are you going to use social media? For ladies, I know that's very good. Yeah. So depending on also the type of the product that you are trying to sell, you've got some products whereby you find that most clients will be found through social media, through Facebook. There were some products whereby most clients will be found through maybe uh, uh, other professional networks like agricultural networks and all that. So you just need to know exactly how do you reach out all this. Yeah. So, but we find that social media is actually becoming the king here. Of course, all in one or another, you find that globally all people are converging through the social media, through Facebook, through Twitter. So that one you can't really ignore it. So you need to know how best you're going to reach out to your clients and then come up with the mechanisms put in place on how you are going to do it. Whether you are going to employ somebody to be of course posting your profile, your products, as well as all your activities on the social media, so that people can be able to know more about you. Then, of course, the other thing that you also need to do is that you need to act. So, of course, in this case, you really need to engage your clients. That means, for example, if anybody makes an inquiry about your product, you must always respond to it. If they've got any question, answer them. Okay. Yeah, at times people get tired and say, watu wananisumbua sumbua tu kila siku niulize maswali, but they don't buy. You know, that can be can really affect your strength towards serving or towards developing your product or trying to build your clients. So what you need to do is that you just need to take it positively and try to classify every inquiry, okay, based on the needs that there are. And this can really help you to develop, for example, different products for different types of people. Like you can create customer personas, and then of course try to understand, like, for example, most for example, students, they always ask this. So you can be able to create a persona for each and every category of the target market. If, for example, they are elderly people, this is what they are always asking for. If there are young working people, this is what they're asking for. If they are students or teenagers, this is what they're asking for. So you can come up with different types of market segments for your product. Okay. If they are farmers, this is what they're asking for. If they are, for example, professional people, this is what they're asking for. So you just come with different categories. And then from these categories, you can be able to actually analyze and say, okay, these are their main queries. And since you have responded to it, you're able to understand exactly what their pain points are and what it is that they're looking for. So that can also help you to understand understand exactly how the market is operating and understand the dynamics and understand the needs of the market. And then, of course, for each and every interaction that you have within the platform, within your customer acquisition effort, you must always try to convert it into a sale. Do not just engage people without converting into sales. So, for example, people want to know about your product. They can ask you questions about it. Then, of course, the end of this conversation should be directed towards
making them to buy. Okay. Of course, there are different ways of conversion. You can maybe tell them, do you want to test? You can think about maybe a flexible way of buying. You can tell them, okay, I'm going to give you now this one and then use it and then you can pay me later. No, that could also be a way of strategy of conversion. So you can be like, you can allow them to pay in bits, depending on how you're looking at your business. You can maybe give them one for free and tell them, now I'm selling you one, I'm say giving you two. Get that? So you can come up with different discount approaches, but of course, all of them should be well calculated. Pricing methodology should be well calculated so that it will actually enables you to ensure that anybody whom you interact with, anybody who shows interest to your products, to your service, is actually converted into a client. Okay. So that's a very, very important aspect of customer acquisition, that you ensure that they are converted into your customer base. Okay. Once they get converted into your customer base, then you find that in that case, it simply tells you that, of course, you're inherently, of course, growing. And then, of course, once you have converted them, once they have done a sales, the most important thing is that you need to maintain this customer within your customer base. So we talk about customer relationship management. In this case, you must find a way of engaging these customers for long-term relationship, because of course you really want to cut down the cost that it takes for you to convert a customer. So you have got what you call long-term value for customers. So you want to make sure that this customer is maintained. And this one has got specific advantage to your business in that, of course, they help you to spread about your brand through the word of mouth. And that's the most powerful way of converting or acquiring clients, because if the clients on their side are the ones who are using your services or your product, they're able to define the need for your product. They're able to, of course, come to a point of becoming loyal to your product. Then, of course, that will help you to, of course, to grow your customer base, because that's basically the most important aspect of any given business. That's why we find that most businesses today, they're really investing into these road shows. You have seen Safaricom, they've got these trucks which they keep on moving from place to place so that they can be able to engage their clients. They don't want to lose these clients to a competitor. At times, people really wonder, why is that these people are just going to these road shows? But the issue is just to engage their clients. You have seen this one happening there, for example, Citizen TV. They've got also at times they normally have their road shows. Of course, they know that they are really competing with the other business in the sector. So they have to make sure that they engage their client base. And of course, you see, at times, if you're not keen, you might say that this is like they are really wasting their time. They're just entertaining, but they know exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to build a community to connect with their clients. We talked about connection last time. We talked about that through this roadshow, so that they develop what you call loyal clients, loyal base, loyal clients who can be able to say, be me, whatever it costs, I'll still remain mtu wa Citizen. Mimi ni mtu wa C Naturals, mimi mtu wa Magi Kienyeji. Yeah, of course, Magi's Kienyeji. All these brands that are here, what we want to see is that at some point, we want you to have a loyal client base. People can just say that, if I want to take coffee, I take Juliera coffee. Do that. So that should be actually your target of customer acquisition. And of course, with all this, you can be able to track all this through different channels, see how it works. And if you're able to achieve this, then that will actually enable you to, you'll be able to be in a position to say that actually your business is growing, because the growth of a business is determined by the number of sales that they make. Is determined by the number of clients base that they have. You have seen platforms like Facebook. Of course, their value is usually determined by the number of people who have registered on the platform. And basically that's how they get their value. It's not because of the platform itself, it's because of the number of users who have subscribed to the platform. So you find that you as an entrepreneur, you must ensure that you control a sizable level of a sizable portion of your target market. And you find that once you do that, you become a giant, whether making money or not. That's a very political statement. But at the end of the day, the market is the money. Okay? The market is the money. So market is the money. The more people you have behind you, the more people you have behind your product, the more valuable your business is, the more scalable your business is. I think that's all that we can have for today. So tomorrow we'll be looking at how to grow, how to market your business, okay, to retain your clients and to ensure that you grow to the next level. Yeah, so I think for today, we'll end up there. So unless there's anybody else who has a question, then you can do that. We shall also be doing a practical session on how you can do that. We shall be sharing some templates which you can use it to develop your go-to-market strategy and customer acquisition strategy for your specific product, so that you can also be given specific or tailored support. Yeah, so I can open up the floor if there's anybody who has a question or a comment. Okay, yes.
Charles, thanks for today's class. Now, I wanted to, you mentioned something on the last event that we somehow picked a few of us that were there. Maybe just briefly, you can talk about it and tell us where we did right and where probably we went wrong. I don't know. I just felt like you can tell us the overview of, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think the event was good. It was good. Yeah, one thing that it gave us an opportunity to present ourselves, to present our ideas and our products to a targeted audience. And in this case, we were targeting potential investors. Yeah, what I can say is that for all those who did the presentation, I think it was a very interesting session. Yeah, the feedback that we got was a wow. I think the team was so much impressed with the work that with the product that you had actually come up with. Of course, they didn't expect that. You know, watu wanajuanga tu kwa mashinani at times, nothing's happening there. Everything is happening in Nairobi. But they were so much excited about that. So I think just to, my general comment is that you did well. Yeah, and most of you showed, demonstrated that you really understood what you're doing, your products. And I believe that you need to do more of that as you continue doing more of presentation, pitching. Of course, you become more confident about what you're doing. And I think that's why you asked me about that question, how you did it. But you did it well. Ulifanya vizuri. Yeah, the products were good. Yeah, so for those who are not there, I'm sure you missed the event. Next time, make sure you don't miss. Unless now we get the feedback from you, those who are able to present, maybe just how it felt by doing the presentation. So unless maybe Elizabeth, you want to start first?
Thank you for that. Now, for me, that was the first time ever. And I felt good. I was happy with myself first. And most of the courage came from the other physical class that we had. It really opened my eye. And I was more confident to talk about what we talked. So I'm glad and looking forward that before the investors would have gained more confidence and correct where we didn't get it right. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth, for that. I think that's why we are here. One is to practice. Pitching, you can get the pitching skill by practicing. So you start by learning yourself. Just as you are the founder of your business, so you must also be the founder of everything for pitching. And then, of course, even if you look at this program, you've also aligned some session. Before the final pitch, you shall be having coaches who will be actually be, supporting on how to pitch, refine your proposals, write your PowerPoint presentations, of course, so that you can be able to really refine it so that you can get the attention of the investors. And that's the beauty about, of course, these interactive sessions. Yeah, anybody else who want to maybe share the experience, his or her experience during the forum? You know, we had C Naturals there. We had who else was there? Kulikuwa na the real estate solution. Yeah, we had a creative work. We had agro food processing startup. So yeah. Yes, any other? C Natural, yes. C Natural. Hey, Caroline.
Well, for me, I think, sorry, I was a bit distracted. I think for me it was good. Only that there was no time to prepare. But I actually, when I got into Eldohub, the guests were already at the reception.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it was sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that the upcoming one we will be very sharp because we have all this time to prepare.
Okay. Well, yeah, sure.
I only felt a little off guard because of first the time, and then I also did not know the interests of the investors. So I did not know whether to introduce myself to strengthen the natural bit of the business or to strengthen the enterprise bit of the business, but it was okay for me.
Yeah, I think, but it's good that you find that as being the founder, you must always be ready to pitch. Each and every time it's time for you to pitch. Each and every time it's time for you to sell.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Laptop ya
Hi,
Charles.
Jess, what happened?
Laptop ya Charles imezima but kidogo tu. He's coming back kidogo tu. Hi everyone. Let's wait for Charles. Kidogo tu he had some problem with the laptop, but anarudi so that he can wrap up the session.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, team, for that. I don't know why the laptop is misbehaving. I think it's overheating. Yeah. So I think so. That's all. So maybe just to sum up with what we've learned today. Just to be, you need to, like, we can have like 5 points. One is that you need to engage with your prospective customer. Ensure that you keep on informed by touching on their needs, as well as you also try to determine their needs, and then try to provide them solution, and then after that offer them your product or services. So it must actually have those 5 aspects of interaction with your clients. So that's how you can be able to build your clients. So sorry, I think that's been the focus for today. So Kesho, I hope we'll have a session, still an event session, but we should be mainly focusing on marketing communication, because you've seen that this is a very important aspect for business. So we'll be looking at how to develop a marketing strategy and how to develop a good marketing communication plan for your products, so that you're able to ensure that your clients are informed about your product. And of course, by doing so, it helps you to also to engage with your clients and also ensure that you maintain them as you grow with your business. So I think that marks the end for today's session. Thank you all for finding time for today's session. I just want to believe that tomorrow we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. Yes, so sorry for today's interruption. Tomorrow I'll be using a different laptop. I'll not use this one again. Yeah, it's interrupted our session, so we won't have the same experience again. Sawa. Unless there's anybody with a swali.
Sawa, I hope we can get the recording or slides for this lesson.
Okay, sawa, I'll do that.
Mm.
Sawa.
Asante.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow. Okay, bye.